So Sarah, what you are is, as everyone can see, is a woman who is full of energy, full of enthusiasm, full of forward thinkingness, full of exploration and curiosity, and that's who you are. And you did say that you came onto the coaching program, and that gave you it kind of embedded the enthusiasm, or gave you a new spark for your recruitment process, and you set your own business up, which was amazing, and you've done great things since 2000 and, was it 2014? 2014.
January the 4th, January the 7th, 2014 is when I set it up. Sorry, Fred's birthday's the 4th, that's why.
And so we've known each other about 6 or so years, and what I've known consistently about you is that you're full of integrity. So you're authentically honest and full of integrity and passion for yourself, for your life, and for other people too. So I think that's a great combination, whether you're a recruitment consultant or whether you're a coach. And I know that you combine those two. And as we said on a previous session, you and I had worked together with a particular client on their progress into their next career, because they wanted to get it absolutely right. So it was great working with you too. So of course, what you've illustrated is that when you learn or discover something new about yourself, and coaching gives you that beautiful opportunity to not only develop skills, language and behaviour to support other people, but going through the learning process enables you to reflect upon your own life. And so what you've demonstrated is that you might want to, and we see this a lot actually in coaching, people might want or might think they want to run a million miles away from the life or the career that they currently have. And then it's great for you. And then when they go through the coaching program, they realize their value within the organization, and bringing a coaching culture into it can really, really help. So I just wanted to illustrate that point, because I think you're a living embodiment of that point, that we can be hugely valuable when we do things slightly differently within the setting that we still exist within. So it can revitalize, not just from a superficial or energetic point of view, but in terms of what we do within the organisation and what we bring to the party. Now, of course, the sessions that we've had over previous weeks have been really revealing, hugely, hugely valuable. And now we're at the point where we've got a great CV. What do we do with that CV? So we're going to talk about how we translate what we've got in the CV into a LinkedIn profile, Sarah.
Yes.
So you've been actively working on promoting your LinkedIn profile. Where have you got with that?
Oh my gosh. Well, as I say, I've been talking about my LinkedIn profile. And, you know, when you're in business, whether you're in business, whether you're looking for a job, not looking for a job, or wherever you are, the LinkedIn profile does seem to be something that is very much important, and to actually have a good LinkedIn profile to reflect you, it makes you visible to people, and you have the actual, we haven't discussed it, but you have the option to put whether you're looking for work or not looking for work. So you don't necessarily, doesn't mean to say that you'll get hounded by people, but who are recruiters looking to recruit you if you're not looking, but you're visible to people that might want to work with you or collaborate with you. So it's your sort of real estate, your window to the world, if you like. And I know we were talking before we came on air about me being, I'm quite honest, I'm a bit late to the party on all of this. Somebody hooked me into LinkedIn years ago, and you get busy with stuff. I get it. I'm busy with so much stuff, which is why I really have embraced this time to get on top of a lot of things that I've needed to get on top of. And LinkedIn profile is one of them. So I did some training 12 months, 18 months ago, and it was one of the things that I was supposed to be doing. And I did a little bit with it. And then on the about section, which is that your opportunity to sort of do a synopsis, if you like, of your CV. Every time I cut and pasted, it just wouldn't work. I've no idea why. And anyway, I abandoned it. However, having had a conversation with a good friend of mine who's taken, you know, the photograph, in fact, you were just alluding to some photographs on LinkedIn. Suzanne took all my branding photographs about 4 or 5 years ago now.
And that's Suzanne?
Suzanne Fells, Fells. So yes, she did all my branding photographs. In fact, any photograph that's out there on my website, she took some back in 2013 and then some 4 years ago. So we're about ready to do some more. Yeah, she's brilliant actually. So we were having a discussion about just promoting ourselves because she's got her own photography business, and she was talking to me about the training and the investment she had on some LinkedIn training, which is something I've attempted to do on a number of occasions, and I've ended up being ported down different paths. And I go with my flow, you know, it's obviously taken me on different journeys, but equally so, I've still been at the point, no LinkedIn profile that is properly promoting myself, despite my 1,500 connections. So I thought, we had a conversation with Suzanne. She'd spent this money, so I tapped into her information, what she told me. I went onto her LinkedIn profile, took a lot of the information off there. I looked at somebody called Sam Rathling, and she's the she's a really leading LinkedIn trainer, and she does things globally and speaks globally and internationally, etc., and so on and so forth. So I looked at hers, looked at a couple of other people who I know are very much in the social media circle, and got to work. It's taken me best part of this week, so I'll be honest, you know, in between everything else, I've been working at it, and I've broken it down, as you'll be pleased to hear, into bite-sized chunks. Yes. I've done the bits that I can do, and do you know what actually just popped into my mind? That's exactly what I did. I had training when I was at school. I was told, do the bits, you know, in the exams, do the bits you can do.
Yeah.
Go back to the bits, get everything done that you can do, and then go back and revisit when you've done the bits that you can do. Because there's no point spending all that time on the first bit and then never answering the rest of the questions.
Yeah.
So do the one you can answer and then go back. And that's the approach, the bite-sized chunks approach of doing the bits I could work on. So I did bits, and then I looked at it, and then I think you had a look at it, didn't you? I sent it over to you, or a portion of it at the beginning of the week, and you made some comments, and I've sent it over to Emma Sasai, who edited my book, and she said, oh, it's too long. I'm going, but I said, well, can you get Sarah, your sister, who also runs a recruitment, we're very alike, very spooky, we're very alike, who runs a PR recruitment agency in London. And again, it came back, it's too long, and it's too, I'm like, yeah, but I've taken the advice from the people who are LinkedIn gurus. So I then revisited it again. And I've weeded it out, and I've now got it to a form that, you know, even we've just spoken before we came on air, I've tweaked something again. It is a work in progress. I'm happy with where it is at the moment. So what I would encourage anybody to do is do some work on it. Don't feel it's got to be absolutely spot on, but do what you feel is right. But it's about getting across and conveying how you can help other people. Not, I was this and I was that and I've done this and I've done that, because people will just look at it and go, so what? You know, because basically what you want is to people go, I want some of that. I want some help with this. So, and if you want to have a look at mine, it's Sarah J Naylor on LinkedIn. That's the form. It doesn't mean to say you've got to copy it, but if there's some sort of inspiration you can get from it, brilliant. Have a look at Suzanne Fells, have a look at Sam Rathling. The one woman I was told to look at was somebody called Denise Oyston, Oyston, and hers, and that's how I kind of amalgamated them together. Because at the end of the day, like we talked about your CV, it's about getting that essence of you across. So the one that I'd originally done was a bit too in-your-face salesy, if you like, but I've got the information on there, but it needed to be softened.
And I think it goes back to your point as we were going through the previous sessions with you, where you were talking about get your passion across and get your, you know, what's important to you, get your values across in your CV. So if if what we come across as, from what you're saying, Sarah, it's kind of really pushy and salesy, when actually what you are is big-hearted, hugely effective, very busy and successful in your own right, and you gather people who want to work with you. And so I think your profiles, like I suppose like your image, you know, are the images that we want to see of ourselves. Not particularly this one this morning, but nothing much I can do about it.
You look lovely.
And well, I think the thing is, you know, we are who we are, and we need to be authentically who we are, and we need to be okay with who we are.
Exactly.
So yes, I'd kind of love to look a bit different, but I don't. So I have to be okay with the image that I'm portraying, and with the words that I choose to use in my profiles. I have to be okay with those too, just in the same way that we think carefully about how we write an email to someone, because you know, it depends on our relationship and our rapport with them as to whether we can be very brief and snappy, or whether we can be very, you know, kind of open and very welcoming, or very heart-led. I think there are different facets of us, and I think we need to be appropriate. So I like your profile because I think it says what you does. Says what you does, says what you do. It does what it says on the tin. I think I was mixing that up in my head. So it really does say what it is that you do in a few short words. And I wish people could get that injection of who you are, because anyone coming to you as a person who wants to either develop their career or wants you as their recruitment consultant will be given 100% focus, will be given 100% of you. You will give your heart, you will give your skill, you'll give your judgment, and you'll give your advice. And I know that to be true. So are you happy with your LinkedIn profile now then, Sarah?
I'm happy with where it is. I think it could still, I don't know, maybe it could do with still a little bit of tweaking and playing around, but I know my backdrop, because you've got the bit that's called the real estate. At the moment, I've still got my book in there, the book cover, and I think I need some work on it. And I'm looking at other people's profiles. I think for me, there's an option for me to perhaps have an image of me with some bit more detail. I could have my image of my face perhaps off my website, speaker, coach, author. Maybe I could have that at the top. Something needs to work with that, but the blurb, I'm happy with the copy, I should say, not blurb, the copy for now. But do you know what? I'm open-minded. I mean, I will take on board something LinkedIn trend, but it's, as you say, it has got to be authentic. I mean, I need to learn so much more about LinkedIn, but I'm trying to learn so much more about everything at the moment, including some of my Facebook group, my this, my that, my other. But, you know, I'm getting there, and what will be. And sometimes, you know what? You don't need to do any of it, because you need to just have that vision, and it all comes to you anyway.
Sure, I agree with that. And you see, what I love about working with folks who are, if I could just talk about Simply Changing for a moment, what I love about people who are attracted to Simply Changing is that we're very, very real. So we're not trying to promote into the world something, an image and an idea of who we're not. What we're aiming to do is just be authentically who we are. And I love that about you, Sarah, that, you know, you have embraced lockdown. You do your live feeds every morning, I think, pretty much every morning. So people can see where you're walking and what you're doing and what you're interested in. And you give a little bright spark into everybody's morning. And I love that, because that is authentically you. You're not doing that because you feel you should. You're doing that because it's useful to you, and you're connecting with people in the social media world, because these are tough times. So we're all doing our bit, and I love that you're getting to grips with social media, because I feel very similar to you in that we're really hard working in terms of all of the learning support for all our learners, as you are with your recruitment business and with your coaching. And then when you think about self-promoting, so getting the message out there about what we do, that that sort of is a second priority on our list of priorities, isn't it? First thing is what you do, and we spend all our time doing that. There's very little for this. So it's been fun, hasn't it, through lockdown, to have the time.
Oh, absolutely.
And so what have you discovered? What are the if you had a person come to you and they didn't know anything about LinkedIn, what would you say are the benefits, and what would you say are the first things that they should do? What would you advise them?
Well, one is to get a LinkedIn profile and to get, you know, a good photograph on there. And I don't mean one where you go, not a photo like
a glass of wine, half cut or something.
Exactly. No, a nice professional photograph. You know, it could be something that you're taking on your camera, but as long as it's a nice professional photograph with an element of your personality coming through it. Because I had a coaching client, and he looked absolutely nothing. He was very sort of hipster. LinkedIn profile photograph made him look like a man in a suit, which he wasn't, and it was just like, why?
Wow.
Anyway, so he did change it, and his wife's a photographer, so why he hadn't got it updated, I don't know. But you know, have an image that reflects you. Even if it's just the basic information on there, but what isn't the right thing to do is just put a whole, just copy and paste your CV, but equally so make sure your dates do match up with your CV. Because I've just been looking at a CV that we've been formatting for a role this week, and we had 2 different versions of his CV and the LinkedIn profile, and all the dates and all of them were different. It's just like, only by a month here or there, but it's just like, make sure they tally up. But the benefit of it is it's your window to potential opportunities that you might not need to do any more work on other than put your profile on there, because recruiters are very active on LinkedIn. So if you are looking for a job, you might get found for a job you didn't know existed. And you know, if you are in a job and you just need to collaborate with people or make connections, you've got that option. And it is about working it, you know. And it's talking to Suzanne again. She's been really, really focused in on working on her LinkedIn profile, and as such, she's been putting posts out there. She's been interacting with people, and she's had a conversation with a coach, because she does a lot of photography work for coaches, who's in British Columbia, who's doing a retreat in Vienna, and has asked Suzanne to actually go and do the photographs in Vienna next year. So
fab.
Exactly. So you don't know where that connectivity will come from. In fact, Liz was saying to me that she'd had somebody contact her via LinkedIn that looks like she's going to potentially do some work. You just don't know. But it is, you know, it's your window out there. If you're not putting yourself out there, if you've got all this amazing talent and all this ability, and you keep it locked in behind the door, how's the world going to access it? You know, we are all unique individuals. I believe we're like our own microclimate. The world is not about pumping everybody out to be the same, which is why I think all the school, don't get me onto that subject, but you know, it's about embracing our talents, embracing our passions, connecting with that and collaborating with people to make that whole, so we can all work together as a unit, because ultimately we're all part of one and the same thing anyway. You know, so it's about wanting what's best for each other, because in wanting what's best for each other, we're wanting what's best for ourselves. You know, and it's not about I want that because I haven't got it. It's just that collaboration, that communication, that creativity, pulling together. I mean, it's like we've been doing these lives. It's brilliant. I've loved it. It's absolutely awesome. You know, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do them with you. You know, it's great. And it's inspired me to do the ones that I've done. So I've done one, I say, with Buxo. I'm going to do one with Liz next week, but very much about careers. And I want to create that pattern. So, you know, building up a YouTube channel. But it's what I love. I love being in front of the camera. I love talking, I love sharing. And I get excited, I get enthusiastic, you know, and it's just, it really, really taps into what I love, you know, and that's helping other people live a happier and healthier life. Because I'm happy, I'm healthy. I've, you know, enabled Fred, I like to think I've enabled him to find his own way. And that a lot was again down to the coaching, because you've alluded to the, you know, being a coach. That even if you don't become a coach, I think going on the coach journey of Simply Changing is one in itself that changes your life.
Yeah.
Because you change how you think, the whole, just even the basics of the reframing and changing your own behavior to get different results from people. It's magical, you know, it's just so amazing. And that's you know, what's enabled me to sort of follow the path that I've been following, because of how I've changed myself and been aware of my own, you know, where I'm doing, you know, just that type, no, I need to put it in the positive tense because subconscious doesn't recognise a negative. What do I want to achieve? What do I want to, so I don't get negative chit chat in my head. It's been zoned out, you know, so just do what feels great. And I get up in bed in the morning and I bring them a step and off I go.
Fantastic. And Sarah, that is the truth, because that is what you do. Every day is a new day full of possibility. And having known you for the time that I've known you, I know that to be consistently who you are, which is fantastic. So this notion of LinkedIn and social media generally, but specifically LinkedIn, because we're talking about that today, is about, get over the fact that you think it has to be perfect. Get your profile out there. Start to build connections with people. And if you're anything like me, I to be honest, hands held high in terms of LinkedIn, because of the work with the dogs and the rescuing and rehoming the dogs from the dog meat trade. That's got me live and kicking on Facebook. And because of that, I've gravitated towards having a Facebook page that we're populating with all of these videos and so on. And so what I've been doing is sort of creeping into social media, I suppose. And I've had a LinkedIn profile for a while, but not really populated it very much. And I think it's about saying, I can start to populate it today. I don't have to beat myself up that I haven't been doing it for the last 5 years or whatever. I can refresh it now, because today is about new and different content, isn't it? And
absolutely,
nobody's going to be worried that you've been quiet for a few years, are they? Would you agree, Sarah?
Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I say, my profile's not, I say it's literally on the about section. It had 3 lines because I couldn't seem to paste anything else into it. And anybody looking at it, I go, and, you know, but it's just, it was really pants. But, you know, it's how you work it. It's what you do. But absolutely, you can make those connections. You can then start to work it. You know, you can interact. I mean, you do what you can do. You do what you can do. But if you've got that time, and I think somebody said to me once, it's like having 2 platforms. And I was just thinking, for you can have this Facebook one for your, you got the dogs, but then the LinkedIn one could be very much about connecting with you know, businesses, running courses for businesses. It maybe it works that way, but you know, invariably, you know, you can get a bit bogged down. I mean, I've been looking at Instagram, but I'm going, oh, God, and can't get on with Twitter. I've never really got on with Twitter. I like Facebook. I've been on Facebook forever and a day. I like Facebook. I'm now beginning to embrace LinkedIn and YouTube as well. So, but yeah, I think if you can do it, even if you just do it to a basic level and you get some basic information on there, a nice picture, don't have the blue bit with the stars in it, because on the back of your LinkedIn, is that what yours looks like, Louise?
No, but I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean put images up there?
You know, on the front page on LinkedIn, you've got your circle with your face.
Yeah.
Behind it, there's what they call in marketing the real estate bit.
Yeah.
So I was having a conversation with someone 2 or 3 months back who was wanting to gravitate from the sales management role in the sector that he was in into a different sector, and moving away from sort of the level of pressure that he'd got in that particular role. But he'd got a real interest in caravans and caravan clubs and that kind of sector. I said, well, subliminally, have some images with caravans or cars and things like that in that bit of real estate.
Yeah.
It's only simple, but
yeah.
You know, have something there.
Quick look at our profiles. Why not? Let's just do that. You get to be able to see stuff. I'm just going to go click on that and get that down there. So I think Sam Rathling, and because we've been talking about LinkedIn, I think I might have connected with her because she's one of your connections. And a couple more as well, Sarah. So the people that you've been talking about, I've connected with. And so hopefully everybody will do that and just build more useful connections. Yeah. So, you know, if people are helpful people to have in your life, you want them in your life, don't you? Yeah. So
I mean, and the thing is, you can connect with people that you think why am I connected with them? But they might know somebody that knows somebody that knows. It's not always that first connection, it's that second connection. You know, anything, when you build it, it's getting people who will then refer you on.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about sort of having conversations and making it, you know, putting yourself out there. And I know a lot of people are very nervous about that sort of networking word. But do you know what? When you're having a cup of coffee in a coffee shop, that's exactly what you're doing. And it's just putting a
That
reframe on it.
absolutely, 100%. That's what it's about. So this is my view of you. So I'm trying to get my eyes into LinkedIn as well.
You're just screen share because I can't see it at the moment.
Oh, well, I thought I was on screen share, so hang on 2 seconds. So,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, apologies. I thought it had shared, and it hasn't, obviously. So that's my view of you.
Yes.
And then it gets to ask me, you know, what is your top skill? What do I think your top skill is? So I would say, well, it's career coaching and career counselling and coaching for me in terms of who you are. And look at that, we've got 52 mutual connections as well. And
Wow.
the thing is that you and I have not been particularly active on LinkedIn, but in fact, we've got 52 mutual connections and probably hundreds more once we get fully active and we connect with all the people that we know on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. There was something else I should say, I should point out that, in fact, I might even ask you live on air, Louise.
Go on.
See there where you are, see where it says more, if you click that button down.
Yes.
It's you can hear, so you can request a recommendation. So if I went onto your profile and clicked that, I can request a recommendation, and likewise you can click that and ask me to send you a recommendation.
Oh well, I'll
Really
do that.
You'll do that. So then you'd have to see, you'd have to go down how we're connected. So I was a client of yours, wasn't I? That was your coaching.
Yes, that's right. Get my eyes in. And then the second one, position at the time. Yeah, that's the one. Principal coach. Principal coach, simply changing without, you see, this is how old it is, right? So simply changing hasn't got a gap in between the simply, because when we first started, we're trying to be really clever, and we did simply changing without a space, because it was 10, 11 years ago. That was a bit sexy, that was.
PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, they did it, didn't they? Everybody was doing it, just putting all their names together.
Yes, exactly. And so it didn't work. So we didn't. So I'm just going to send that to you, so you'll get that. And then
I will do one back the other way. So
perfect. And I really love that. So so what we want is, we want to get some vibrancy in our behavior, I suppose, and some energy going in terms of our profile. So I need to look at mine. I'm just going to have a quick look. I'm just going to go to mine and show what that looks like. So does it look like that, or does it look like that? So when you were talking about the real estate, this is one of our groups, our amazing coaching groups.
You get that energy in there, don't you, as well? Do I know anybody on there? Who do I know on there? Anybody?
Maybe not. You know, Jane, obviously.
Yes.
This is Ella, and that's Dave. We've got Annette, and we've got Philippa, and we've got so many great people in here. Let me ask you, whilst we're on, that photograph, what do you think of it? Is it too... That was taken during one of our training programs, so I'm not in a garden somewhere. But what do you think? Do you think I should change that?
I think it's lovely, but I think it looks a little bit like you're perhaps on holiday or something.
Yes, that's what I wondered too. So I'll maybe change that to something else.
It looks lovely because it makes you look sort of really, you know, nice and easy and approachable and friendly. But to me it looks a little more casual.
Yeah. And okay. So I'm balancing. So if we're talking about how we portray our the message about who we are, that is who I am, and that is what I want to be as well, and to continue to be. but yes, there's a question about whether or not that's to the other side for LinkedIn. And then we've got our strapline.
I think the image could be, you know, if it got a different backdrop, I think it would look different. It would look different, because you obviously, a lot of the training is sort of in-house training, isn't it? Do you see what I'm saying? I think that's
Yeah.
the actual, yeah, maybe it's just the backdrop.
Yeah, it's a palm, and it's kind of smudgy because we have a great photographer who comes in on the final day and does some great photographs. And what we say to everybody on that final day is just be yourself, be relaxed, and she will just mooch around and take photographs. And that's on a face-to-face program. But you know, and then you know, people get to be able to take those away and populate their websites and LinkedIn profiles with them as well.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe I'll have a change of that photograph. So I think the importance of the message that we want to share here is that be authentic, be real, be who you are, and allow your profile in LinkedIn to be appropriate to communicating with a career audience as opposed to a social audience on Facebook. And think about the wording, get your messages across as succinctly and effectively as you can, but make it a work in progress. Sarah?
Absolutely. I was going to say, Louise, just one thing. If you pop onto Suzanne's page, Suzanne Fells, because she's been doing a lot of work on hers, and she was been telling me about the power of the visual image, you know, because so many people buy that to start with. So, you know, that's a recent photograph that she's taken for somebody in business, you know, that's in finance and accountancy, which you could not. What that is, that the guy on the right, sorry, I'm not quite sure who the one lady on the left is, but if you scroll down to her sort of her posts, you know, it's where yeah, so she's uses a lot of visual images.
Where are her posts? Goodness me.
Scroll up a bit. You have to go to activity. Activity. I lose it on here. I really do.
Highlights about activity.
There we go. If you go to activity and you go see all, and then you click onto posts at the top there. There we go.
There's you. There's you. Woo-hoo-hoo. This is a lovely photograph of Suzanne, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fab. Really lovely photograph. She's fab. She's in my book because she went from being a buyer and not being well to then following her original initial passion of that of being a photographer. And she does all. That's a photograph from, you know, for a long time ago. But look at this, the interaction. She's had a lot of comments. So yes, she uses the power of, you know, the image. And she was saying to me that is so important now to actually use sort of original images and things like that.
And what I like about this is that she's got some music in there as well. So I mean, he might be one of her customers that I haven't necessarily read it, but I like the fact that she's got something new and different in there. And what's she got in here? So she's obviously taking photographs of some clothing.
Yeah, that's how she's working with somebody on lockdown at the moment, because obviously she can't work with them directly. Yeah. So she's being creative in terms of taking photographs of their clothing. She does weddings, she does food shots, she does clothes, she does products and things like that. And that was a screenshot she took. We were talking on Zoom.
Brilliant.
So, oh, look at a
cat. Is that her cat?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Like the fact that she's got her cat. I was going to pop Molly on our live feed here this morning, but she's just disappeared. Molly Pops, and I imagine that's Spain or Italy, but it looks like it could be Spain. Yeah. Could be Italy. Yeah, great. So the images are important. So putting an image with a post is important, and we're probably preaching to the converted, and lots of people are going, well, we've heard that. But the message that you came out with, and I think we'll probably end on this message, Sarah, is the message that you shared with us when we were talking about CV is get your passion across in your CV.
Yeah.
Know what's important to you and bring that forward. And I think if we are passionate about what we do in our careers, and let's face it, you and I definitely are, then we've got lots to talk about. And now we've got lots to be able to take images of that reflect our passion as well.
Yes.
So are you and I going to commit to developing our LinkedIn profiles so that we project who we are more, probably more frequently, maybe?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, as I'm saying, I'm working on my recommendations, so I shall be pinging mine over to you shortly. So I'm going to up my recommendations, up my connections. I'm going to be up in my post. I posted the interview discussion I had with Buxo yesterday, but it's about the activity on there to then get the interest on the post that you put in. But it's, obviously for you and I, it's more about attracting business. For other people, it may be just wanting to be there. So it's making sure, again, the keywords are in so that you come up on somebody's search if you are looking for a job, but making sure that your whole profile looks presentable, looks like, as you say, your authentic true self, to attract the job that you've spent time thinking about. Because it is, you know what, we'll spend hours looking for a house or looking for a car or looking for other things. How much time do we spend actually looking at ourselves?
Yeah.
And if you do, you'll then create the opportunities and they'll present themselves, and then it's recognizing the opportunity when it presents itself and jumping on board and going, it's being tuned in.
So let's use this as an opportunity to really think about either bolstering our business or finding the job of our dreams. So that we build our business authentically and attract the people who get who we are and who respond to our values and our beliefs into our business world, or that we attract and manifest a career that is within an organization that reflects our values. And then you never work another day in your life, Sarah, do you?
Indeed. I've only got you in a small little hole at the moment on the top of my screen, so.
You have. So what I'll do is I'll just come back to Zoom and we'll say our goodbyes. And it'll be can I? Oh no, stop share that. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Done it. So it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him. I can't remember how they did it, and it's a good night from me.
See you, Sarah. Thanks for your time.
From me, and it's a good night from him, didn't it? I can't remember how they did it now.
I think it was a good night from me and it's a good night from him. I think they said that. I think that's what they said, the two Ronnies, didn't they? It's a good night from me, it's a good night from him.
You haven't got the glasses.
And the glasses were Ernie and Eric and Ernie, weren't they? They were Morecambe and Wise.
Yes. Oh God, made me feel sick.
Corbett. Maybe it was not Ronnie Corbett.
I think they all Ronnie Corbett and Ronnie Barker wore glasses.
Ronnie Barker, yeah. You're right. There we go.
Cool. Well, hopefully it's some use to people, but I think, I'm a work in progress on it, and it is part of my sort of to-do list. But I'm just glad, having spent the best part of the last 3 days focusing on it, I have got something out there. So yes, if I can find time to do it, other people can.
Oh, for sure. If you and I can find time to do it, then anybody can, because we do work around the clock. But I would like to say thank you so much, and connect with us. So if you come across this, connect with us on Facebook, connect with us on LinkedIn. So Sarah, just give a reminder to everybody of where they can find you.
Right, you can find me on Facebook, and I've got a Manifest Your Dream Job group, so you can find me in there. So that's a really good one to hop into. LinkedIn, I'm on Sarah J Naylor, or my website, which is sarahjnaylor.com. Makes it quite easy. And recruitment wise, I've got my recruitment business, which is Naylor George Recruitment.
Fabulous. Well done. And to connect with me or Simply Changing, our website is simplychanging.co.uk. I am Louise Travat on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. And we also have a page on Facebook, which is the NLP Coaching Academy, simply changing NLP Coaching Academy. You'd be very, very welcome. We've got loads and loads of recordings there of amazing people that we've been contacting and chatting with through lockdown. So that should keep you going for a few days, shouldn't it, Sarah?
Absolutely. They've got lots of content to get their way through there. So.
All right. So happy business development or happy career development. Take care, everyone. See you soon.
Take care. Bye.